Welcome to Ntiva's Microsoft webinar series for June 2024. I'm going to be your host again, Ted Brown, Director of Product Management here at Ntiva. And today we're going to be talking about Microsoft new teams and how the different features and functions differ from the classic teams you might be used to today. Before we get into some of that fun information about what might be upcoming with teams that you can take advantage, we're going to go through a little bit of nuances of licensing structures that actually impact teams. I think is important for everybody to know. This is going to start in August 1st, so I want to make sure that people have an understanding of what changes are going to occur and how you might take advantage of some different ways to mitigate those changes prior to August 1st if you want to include teams within your office suites. We're going to go through impact to clients for these changes, go through a little bit of the cost changes, and then we'll get into some of the fun information about how some of the Microsoft new Teams functions differs from the classic version, get into some of the performance improvements, the enhancement collaborations they've included into it, some of the user experience I find actually very easy to use today, and then get into some of the notable changes that are different from the classic versions that are no longer included in the new Teams. So first things first, let's talk about some of the pricing differences and some of the changes that are going to occur after August 1st for Teams. So if people have been paying attention potentially how licensing structure has been done over in Europe, Microsoft made it so you can no longer purchase Microsoft SKUs with Teams included. Microsoft decided we're going to go ahead and make that the same way we're going to do it in purchasing with the United States. So starting August 1st, they're setting up a new set of SKUs with the Microsoft Enterprise licensing that does not include Teams. And then if you want to include Teams, you purchase it as an add-on product. This will make it so you actually can't purchase any new Office 365 Enterprise SKUs if you don't have it today. With Teams, you have to actually purchase the add-on SKU if you want to include Teams in this. This makes it so you can actually have a lower cost SKU if you don't use Teams itself. You might use a different type of third-party product for communication means. So you actually have a lower cost of licenses if you don't use Teams because you're probably paying another third party for that type of product. But if you use Teams and you plan to use Teams, this will increase the cost to the client itself, which we'll get into some of the cost structures here in a second. So the key part about this is who does this impact? So this will impact people purchasing enterprise SKUs. So if you're using business basic, business premium, business standard, those aren't not considered enterprise SKUs within Microsoft. So all this information does not impact you. This only impacts people utilizing enterprise SKUs. Now the enterprise SKUs are the Microsoft O365 E3s, the E1s, the E5s, the Microsoft 365 E3 and E5s. Those are the enterprise SKUs. So starting August 1st, if you're purchasing those for the first time, you have to purchase it without Teams, then do the add-on Teams after that. So the key part there, what I mentioned, is if you're purchasing it for the first time. So if you're an organization that has 20 E3s right now and you want to hire a rockstar employee that's going to start after August 1st, you don't have to worry about it because you're already grandfathered into the subscription that includes Teams today. So if you have Office 365 E3, E1, E5, Microsoft 365 E3, E5 today, you don't have to worry about it if you're increasing the quantity of that current SKU. What this will impact, though, is if you don't have that SKU after August 1st. So if you're a business premium and you want to go to an Office E5 after August 1st, you cannot purchase an enterprise license that includes Teams. You have to purchase the non-Teams version and then do the add-on license after that to make sure you utilize Teams if you're utilizing it within your organization. Same thing goes if you're utilizing an enterprise SKU today and you want to upgrade to a newer version. So if you're utilizing Microsoft 365 E3 today and you want to migrate or upgrade to Microsoft E5 after August 1st, you'll be upgrading to a product that does not include Teams and you would add on the Teams afterwards. So if you currently have the product, you're grandfathered in, and if you're purchasing it for the first time after August 1st, that's when this will apply to you. The other key part about this is this only impacts commercial clients. This will not impact nonprofit, education, or government clients. However, it won't impact them today. Just like other stuff that Microsoft rolls out, they roll it out in the commercial sense first, and then they start going back to the other types of products they sell for nonprofits, GCC, as well as education. So I do foresee this coming. It is not impacting you today, coming up on August 1st. So it does not impact you now. Now, what does this mean as far as the cost difference? So really what it does is it adds $3 extra for anyone that wants to use a SKU that will include Teams after August 1st. So you can see here, I got a chart showing what the cost will be for an annual license. This does not include with the monthly 20% higher. This is all annual based licensing. So if you utilize E5, E1, you want to purchase E1, it'll cost you $7.75. If you then want to add on Teams, will be an additional $5.25. Microsoft Office E3 over here, you can see is the $33.75, and you still have to add on the $5.25. This chart I have here shows you what the cost will be and the delta if people want to include Microsoft Enterprise licensing and the Teams cost. So Office 365 E3 with no Teams plus the add-on is $26. Before this change, it was $23. The delta is $3. So you can see here, it is the same across the board. So if you want to add on the enterprise license for Teams after August 1st, again, if you don't have that license today, then it will be additional $3 per user to use the full suite that you might be used to if you're expecting to have Teams in there. So there is some cost difference there. Now, what can you do? Let's make like say, hey, if you're thinking about a project and you go, hey, I do have plans to move to E5 next year, but I just don't have it in the budget. I had E3 today. What you can do if you want to, you can purchase one license before August 1st, and that will grandfather you in for the history of that SKU. So you can actually kind of pre-buy this, pay just a one quantity, and then when it comes time to do those migration upgrades, whatever you want to do, you'll have the ability to utilize the full SKU that includes Teams that's not the $3 higher license one, and make sure that you actually have the lower cost version today. But again, that would have to be some action taken before the 1st of August to not have that increased cost of $3. So kind of some tricks you can play in there. But again, this is something that's coming that will start after August 1st. And again, it's only for new SKUs being purchased after that date. So now that we got the monetary thing that's been changing out of the way, let's get into some kind of fun information about what's going on with Microsoft Teams. Now, Microsoft New Teams has been rolling out for a little bit. It was more kind of, again, in like a preview mode, then went to GA. People have kind of been trying it back and forth. You can toggle the little back and forth switch of try the new teams. Some people liked it at the beginning. Some people had troubles with the beginning, and some people have issues and kind of blame new teams. Now, it did have some, I'd say, kind of a little rocky start kind of coming out of the gate, but it has actually made a lot of improvements moving towards it actually being the one and only Teams being used moving forward. So I definitely recommend giving it a try, trying again. If you had issues in the past, they've made some improvements. Give it a shot, see if it works for you. Now, some of the improvements they have done, I sometimes find more a little bit on the backend tech side. So now the backend tech side of this, it does have a vast amount of processing power that's not being used. So it's about twice as fast as the previous classic Teams you might be used to. So it uses up to 50% less resources, which is kind of important if you're looking kind of rolling this out in a virtual desktop model. You don't have as many resources to this application. So, or you're rolling out a whole fleet of computers, and less resources are going to be taken on those computers. Will you necessarily see that as an individual? You might not see that it's taking up less resources, but if it was taking a lot of resources compared to other systems you're using, it will slow down your computer, so you will actually see, hopefully, an improvement in processes there. Now, they do say that's faster to app, quicker chat, switching, and meeting join times. I personally have not seen notable changes in that, but really when I actually compare the two running classic version versus the new teams, you can see that it is taking less resources, which is great, again, when trying to roll this out to like a virtual type of environment. Now, a little bit onto what I think is actually some items that you will like and take advantage of as far as the new Teams application. The first one is enhanced collaboration. I do like this one, the seamless cross-tenant communication. So this helps you improve the collaboration across organizational boundaries and simultaneously sign into multiple accounts to allow for easy collaboration. So what this means is, so I'm going to come over to my desktop here. Here's my Teams. If you click on your name up here at the top, you can have multiple different organizations. So I have my Ted Brown here. I do have a Microsoft chat. I have a Nerdio chat. I also have a Purple Guys chat. I'm all signed into these at one time. So I can click into it without having to re-authenticate back into it. Don't have to re-authenticate coming back into my Ntiva main daily driver account as well. Beforehand, I actually had to kind of come back and forth and actually choose and re-authenticate back in, which was actually a pain. It took a little bit of time. Sometimes I didn't want to do it when I'm actually in another Teams message, a Teams meeting, trying to look at files on another organization's information, because that would cause me to potentially be logged out of that meeting as well. So this seamless collaboration across tenants, I do find very useful and beneficial and saves me time today. Now, the next piece I want to get into are some of the users' experience that I think will have some impact to you. Now, we have a thing called Loop. Now, I'm not sure if people have been utilizing Loop. Loop is a collaborative workspace tool that's designed to help teams work together on projects. I'll probably do, I think, probably a Loop webinar in maybe the early part of Q3. This will allow you to create digital workspaces where you can add things like text, checklists, and files, and these workspaces can be shared across others, and everyone can see the changes made in real time. So it's a great place to kind of put some information together and everyone come back to a shared location to find out what's going on within that project meeting or anything along those lines. They have a board they can go to. So it's just not lost in the notes of a meeting or something like that. Now, one of the new features they have with Teams is to be able to include Loop within channel. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to come into Teams. I'm going to come into one of my channels here. I'm going to start a new post within this channel. So I'm going to start a new post. And within here, I have an option to use loop components. Now, if I bring across the old teams here, which I have going on right here, and I come into my teams, I'm coming to general section here, start a post. You can see here, I do not have the option to do that. So you can't do that today within the classic teams, but you do have that capability of doing it with a new team. So as you start getting used to Loop, you can actually start throwing these into your channels here. So maybe I want to put a Q&A thing out to here to my team and find out if people are interested in learning more about something along, hey, the new teams, what do they want to learn more about? Put something in there for them. And people can come to this board and it'll be in a shared workspace for them to actually collaborate together. So I do find it pretty handy to use. I'll do a webinar on Loop to give you some more information how you might actually bring that into your organization. But if you want to use Loop within channels, that's now available for you within the new teams. Now, the next one I do like is the improved search. So as you start utilizing Teams a lot, you're starting to have messages fly back and forth. And of course, you want to find something that somebody might be kind of talking about. So within the search button up here, you can hit the search and you can start typing something in. Let's go ahead and start typing in Arctic. And I can see all the messages consider the file Arctic or the word Arctic, my files, group chats, team channels. Now you can do that in the classic Teams, but what you can't do is you can't use Control F and do a find in chat. So if I know the person I actually want to look for information on, I know I had a conversation with Lauren about Arctic Wolf and I want to find where this is and I just want to go straight to her, I can go ahead to my chat with her and do a Control F and it will search strictly within that chat session I'm looking with Lauren. You can do this with channels as well. Control F within a channel will find information strictly from what's in that channel. So you can kind of shrink down and hone down your search real quickly from the chat session or the actual channel section as well. So that is kind of a handy feature to use for the new teams. The next one I do find pretty big. It's the OneDrive integration they have with Teams. So now with Teams, on my left-hand side here, I have OneDrive. When I click on this, this is the true web version of OneDrive if I was going to Microsoft 365 on the web and looking at what OneDrive looks like. This is an identical picture for it. What you had beforehand, you actually had a thing called files. So if I click into my old one here, come into my files, it is kind of a shrunken down version of what your OneDrive looks like. You can see here, if I come in, I have different features. I can see my recycle bin, go to my recycling section, find files by people. So if I use OneDrive on the web or want to get to my files real quickly, I can do it strictly from the Teams app. They're really trying to make it more of the hub of where you come in to get information real quickly. You can add in different applications on the left-hand side here, one of them being OneDrive. Come into your application right here, do some work with the OneDrive, find your files, folders, share things along those lines, and then quickly jump into your Teams, your chats, your calendar, whatever you need within the Teams application. So making like a one-stop shop, one-click access to access the information and collaborate seamlessly together. The next piece I really like. Now it's a small thing, but I find this kind of annoying for me. The which I couldn't do before is marking all notifications as read. If I get a lot of Teams messages throughout the day, I might see certain things going through, and the one thing I hate is coming back and seeing this big number here after 9. It stops there. It won't continue on. I got a lot of team messages happening. So within my chat feature now, if I come into my chat, you do have these 3 little dots here. I can mark all as read. You can do this within a specific channel as well. If you want to say, hey, I want to mark all that information within the channel as unread, you can do that as well, or do it for all your chats as well. So that's kind of a good way to make sure you kind of figure out what needs to be done and help kind of minimize the notifications you have for the Teams messages coming through. So I find that very handy. And again, was not available on the classic Teams. The next one that's kind of neat is customizing reactions. So what that means is, so I'm going to come into a chat here. I have, myself sent me a link to Ntiva.com. So I wanted to kind of throw in a thumbs up. So that's the emojis right there. And these are more emojis available. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 available to you today. I click on the more emojis. I have tons of them I can choose from, but maybe I like to have a different options available to me than just the thumbs up, the heart, the laughy face, and the surprise face. You can click on this icon here next to the search, and you can set your defaults. So I can say, hey, I no longer want to have my heart. Let's add in something else. I want to add in, hey, 100%, and add in another one of a checkbox. So now I set these as my reactions, hit save. And so now when I come in to do an emoji reaction, I have the default ones that I have customized for myself. So I know that I no longer have a heart. I have 100% because maybe that makes more sense for stuff I'm trying to get across. So you can really kind of customize it to you for those quick, really emojis that you're sending out to a person's chat. Again, works within the channels as well. The next one actually I find actually very handy is the addition of a meetings app. Now, let me show you that. So meetings app, I'm going to come here. So you got your left-hand side, you got your 3 little dots to view more applications. So in this, you can do a scroll to see all the applications available to you. You can type in Meet and go ahead and click it. I'll add it right there. And I like to have it in here, so I'm going to go pin it. Now, what is Meet? When I click on Meet, it will show me all the meetings that are upcoming and the recent ones I was involved in. I can go to my calendar. Now, a calendar gives me kind of a layout of when things occurred. But once you start getting used to Meet, it's very nice because I can actually see quickly of all the meetings I was in, find the transcript, try and find the video. If there's any files being shared with, I can find it right within this application itself. Now, this was a new feature, or is a new feature for the Microsoft New Teams. I can come into my apps here and I can add it in to this thing, but it was not available. Preview, add in. So it's definitely a different look than it had before. I highly recommend trying it out because I actually, once I found out that was included with the new teams, put it in here, and I use this almost on a daily basis to go back and review some of the meetings I had, take a quick look at any type of streamed videos, transcript, what have you. Or for me, the most important part is coming in, finding some of the applications, documents that have been shared with me from that Teams meeting if I actually need to actually provide information, make some changes, see what some of my to-dos are, can come quickly back to this meeting section right here. Next is you have the capability of opening up links into the Edge browser for the Teams in the sidebar. So I'm not sure if you're utilizing your Edge browser. It is I find it it's a Chromium type browser similar to Chrome. I actually start making the switch, I think, around the beginning of the year, and I've been utilizing Edge for pretty much everything. I don't know if you have a side browser, if you're used to it. You can come into your Edge browser here, bring it up, Ntiva. You got your sidebar right here, and you can add things in. You have your Outlook, your team. So I can have my team section here, have my Outlook here. So what's kind of neat is that if you open up links from people that have shared to you, it will bring the chat message within that link itself. So you can actually see what the link they're talking about and chat to them at the same time about that link. So it makes it easy to kind of go back and forth, especially if you're working in one monitor. They keep that kind of seamless communication back and going. Highly recommend trying it out. You do have to have Edge set as your default browser to make this work. So when you click on a link, it will open up within Edge. but that's the first part to try, and then you can start taking advantage of that and see if it makes sense to you. I do take advantage of it. I do find it handy, so give it a try. The last piece that has been changed is or added in is scheduling messages to be sent. So kind of like you have with Outlook if you're utilizing Viva, if maybe you're doing a chat or you want to send a chat to somebody at a certain time, or hey, you're doing a message and it's 9 o'clock at night, you don't want the person to get back to you, you can actually pre-schedule set delivery options on that chat itself. So you can come in here and set delivery option to potentially send at a different time, select the delivery options of how it's going to be important or not to you. So you can actually make sure that it's sent at that sent at the correct time, as well as set at the correct level of importance to the client itself. Now that gets into some of the new features they have with Teams. Now let's talk about some of the changes that are no longer available to you with new Teams browsers itself. So some of the changes are there's no longer the save feature in new Teams. Now, if you remember, let me bring that across. Oh, sorry, not that direction. Bring this over. So within Teams before, if I come to my chat, and I did find this as a handy feature. I can come in and click these little dots right here, and I can save this message. When you save that message, you can actually search for that saved message, like show me all my saved messages. Now, I get a lot of text, Teams messages through the day. I also get a lot of Outlook messages through the day. And my workflow had been, I'm going to flag every important message that comes through in Outlook. I'm going to save important messages in Teams to make sure when I come back at the end of the day, I can come through all those and actually reply to them in a timely fashion. So that part has been a little bit of a nuance I miss. However, now this is not a new feature within Teams. What I have been doing since that change, which has been working pretty well, is I'll come into the new Teams itself, click on Share Message to Outlook. It'll pop up here, and I'll type my, well, of course, it's having a problem during a live demo, which definitely happens. This is here again. Let's see, share an Outlook. One more try. It should pop up going where who you want to send it to. I put in my name and it send it to my Outlook, and then I flag it from there to make sure I reply to that information that that person might be messaging me about. I'll reply to an Outlook, but I do it in a timely fashion because I don't miss it and it doesn't get lost in the flow. The other part that has changed, get back from this, is the search command box. Have removed such commands such as activity, files, go to, etc. Now, I did a webinar on Teams itself. I put that as a feature you can do. I'm not sure how many people would take advantage of that or have taken advantage of that. What that means is I've come into my old Teams here at the top. I click my slash button. It gives me all this information. I can set, hey, let's go ahead and find files based on information. So I kind of hone down the search of what I'm looking for based on that first slash, and then type in what I'm trying to type in there, and then put the information within that search to find. So that's no longer available to you on the new Teams. The next one is just to make sure you know Teams theme follows the OS theme. So if you have dark mode on your computer, it will actually default to dark mode or things along those lines. So it has a theme within there. The other part is adding third-party cloud storage has been removed because they moved over to having it be OneDrive, not just files. So what this was before, if I come into my files, I have add storage, and allow me to add Dropbox, Google Drive, and things along those lines. That's no longer available to you within the OneDrive version within Teams, so that has been removed. The other part is the activity tab within the chat session. So if I came in, again, some of the stuff might not have been heavily used, but if you were used to utilizing it, I can come in here, click on the name, and I used to be able to click on activity. That would show me all the activity that person has been doing within a certain chat section. So if I come, this is the classic version, you can see the activity. And I come into the new version, come into the same person, you can see here the activity part has been removed. The last piece is the LinkedIn. If you're taking a version of the LinkedIn information, that's no longer available in the one-to-one chat. However, you can find it in an alternative way. So you can see here, this does not see LinkedIn. This is the new version. If I click on the person's name, they do have a LinkedIn option right there. But if I come into the old Teams, the classic Teams, I click on a person, my LinkedIn information would be right here as well, which was not at that time within the same view within new teams. You have to click one extra place to get it. So those are some of the nuances of changes that are no long that have been removed, features that have been removed from the new teams. They might be used in the classic teams. However, they are making this move to the new teams to make it more efficient, more collaborative, faster to use, and they're going to be adding more features into this as well. So they got a lot more enhancements that are coming along. So really, in conclusion, Microsoft 365 and Office 365 and Teams licensing has gone under a change that might add cost to your bottom line. So I want to make sure that everyone's aware of that. I recommend if you want to add a license earlier to get around that change that might be coming up, it might be advantageous to you to do that before August 1st. So you don't have that $3 per user increase if you want to bundle in Teams with the Microsoft Enterprise SKU. Reminder, it only impacts enterprise licensing, does not impact business premium, business standard, or business basic. Nothing's being impacted in there. A nonprofit, government clients, as well as education clients are not impacted today. Now, as far as like the user experience, I definitely heard, it's mentioned at the beginning, I've, heard people complaining about new Teams itself, but it does offer a lot of significant improvements and has been enhanced and kind of fix those bugs it had at their initial launch. So I definitely recommend trying out with performance increases, the enhanced collaboration, the improved user experiences, with features like loop in channels, the improved search, and the OneDrive integration. I really feel Teams is more efficient and productive than it really ever was. I really highly recommend embracing these changes and taking advantage of the benefits as the new Teams is rolled out within your organization. Well, that's all I have for you today. Hope you found it beneficial. We do have a fresh new Q3 webinar series information that'll be coming out soon, so you can go ahead and pre-sign up for the July, the August, and the September. I believe we're going to be talking about Microsoft Loop. We're going to be going into the new Microsoft Planner, and we're also going through some of the new changes that have come to Microsoft Copilot for Office 365. I look forward to talking to you in the future. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you. Bye.